Hello and welcome to Business Matters. I'm your host, Mike Wark, and today our guest is Duncan Townsend, Executive Vice President of Detec Systems, which is really a fascinating business building in Tacoma that has to do with, of all things, roof leaks. It's a good place to be if you're into the roof leak business.
Absolutely, it rains a lot.
Yeah. So Duncan, tell us about Detec. What do you do?
What do we do? We have developed products and we market technologies for people who design, build, own, and manage buildings.
Okay, so commercial, primarily.
Commercial and residential,
Really?
primarily multifamily at this point. But and specifically it has to do with helping those people design and maintain buildings, durable buildings that are free of the damages caused by water intrusion.
You've introduced some new technology that's really taken this art of identifying leaks to a new level.
Absolutely, state of the art.
So what do? You scan roofs?
Mike, we do two things. The beginning are, we have automated means of doing this and manual means.
Okay.
In the automated means, we install our systems during construction
Okay.
within the building enclosure to monitor for water intrusion into the hidden areas of the building.
You build instruments into the buildings that'll
Absolutely.
say, I'm leaking.
Exactly. We put sensors within the wall cavities and within the roof areas, the hidden areas of the building, to monitor for water that intrudes in there.
Wow.
Buildings leak, okay?
Right.
But if they dry out in a reasonable amount of time, no harm is done and things are fine. It's when water starts to accumulate in those hidden areas that you get the rot of wood, the rust of the steel components, the mold, and all the bad things that happen. So what we do is monitor that and trend that electronically. And actually, we're connected through the internet, so you can understand what's going on in your building enclosure.
So you just go, it all comes into a computer program and you can find out how your leaks are drying.
The key is to understand what's going on in your building enclosure so you can take the appropriate action. And the reason I say that, it can be as expensive to overreact to water intrusion problems as it is not to act at all because you didn't know about them.
So what are these little gizmos that are doing this work?
It's a tape. It's a tape that's about 2 1/4 inches wide, has 2 electrical conductors down it. We're taking electrical resistance measurements within the envelope and of the building sheathing. So
electrical resistance. That means that if it's wet, it does something different than if it's dry?
Exactly. The conductivity changes. Things that get wet conduct electricity better. What we do is we just pole it with microamps of electricity for microseconds.
Okay.
And you only have to do that 2 or 3 times a day.
Really?
That's all it takes.
Okay, and then if it's wet, it'll give you a different reading than if it's dry.
It'll give you different readings.
Easy as that.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it sounds easy, but I'm sure this is fairly complex.
Yeah, the complexity is in the electronics and the software.
Right.
But that's basically it. It's now during construction we would poll that more frequently to understand what's going on, or if we're monitoring flood zones within a building, internal flood zones such as plumbing leaks or things.
Right.
Someone needs to know about that very quickly.
What do you call the gizmos?
Moisture detection tape is the sensor itself.
The sensor, okay, the
Yeah.
moisture detection sensor. Once they're built into the building, can you get in and replace them, or do you need to?
Well, it's kind of like a wire for your lights or your electrical circuits. Once they're buried in the wall and you've tested them and you know they function properly, it's not much that's going to happen to them.
They're pretty solid.
They're buried in the walls. You can't really hurt them.
I see.
But we have diagnostic methods to know if they have been damaged in some way. You can go back and repair.
So what's connected to the tape to get the information to the computer?
22 gauge wire, and we connect to Cat5 cables, and it connects back to a remote zone sensors, which take the information from the zones and connects to a computer that's resident in the building. That computer connects by high-speed access to the internet, so that the property manager can log on to the internet.
Wherever he or she is.
Wherever he is, he can look at a building in plan view or the elevation view of his building and see where things are graphically, and then actually produce charts to understand what's going on in there. As I said, it's all about taking the appropriate action, not panicking too fast and not acting like an ostrich with your head stuck in the sand.
Yeah. Did you develop had to develop the software to make all that work?
We did.
You have another line of business too, or is it one other, or are there a couple other things that you do?
One other primary thing, and it's a complementary business.
Okay.
As we started developing products for the vertical parts of the building enclosure, the walls, we kept getting calls saying, well, what do you have for roof leaks? You know, roof is the real key problem we're dealing with, because we always have roof leaks. Everyone has roof leaks sooner or later, right?
Yeah.
So we developed two methods of doing that. One is a manual method of scanning roof membranes, waterproof membranes, to verify that they're watertight at installation. Mm-hmm. And the other method is the automated method to monitor them for the life of the building to know if they have leaked any time thereafter, such as green roofs. You're starting to see a lot of green roofs out here. It's just sustainable roofs.
Right, that means they have dirt and grass and plants growing on the roof.
Which means you have to maintain a lot more water on there.
Oh.
So when you maintain water on the roof, you want to especially know that it's not leaking.
Wow. So do you do special preparations for the roof before you put the green stuff on there?
We do.
And that's part of your business?
It is.
Okay, so a roof membrane, tell me what that is.
A roof membrane is a waterproof membrane that you put down before you put the green roof, or before, really this applies to any roof. It needs to be waterproof, right? And when I say any roof, this is primarily flat roofs, commercial roofs.
Okay.
Slope roofs have a different tolerance for water.
Okay.
Flat roofs need to be watertight.
I see.
All we do is really test that to confirm that it is in fact watertight.
Okay.
The kind of the old method of doing it, if you had to verify that the roof is watertight, is you flood test it. You put 3 or 4 inches of water on it, you go downstairs and look for leaks.
Is it leaking?
Right, which is a very inconclusive way of doing it.
Yeah.
Our methods, there again, we use just small amounts of electricity, I'm talking just a few volts, to test this electronically, and it's very sensitive and it's very conclusive.
And then you also use this technology, well, when you're putting in new roofs, but you also go help people find their leaks.
Perfect, exactly. That's the other thing we do.
Okay, so that's your third business.
Yeah, that's the forensic side of it.
Forensics.
Yes.
It sounds to me like some R&D has gone into this.
Quite a bit.
So that you're an R&D business that's gone into selling a product.
Absolutely.
So who are your main customers?
Mike, our customers are building designers, constructors, owners and managers of those buildings who have concerns over keeping the water out, basically.
Is there money to be saved? Is that what you offer?
Mike, it's huge. Every year, building owners, contractors, and their insurance companies spend hundreds of millions of dollars repairing and litigating over leaky buildings.
No kidding.
Absolutely. When in fact, if they had known about a lot of these problems earlier, they could have fixed them for thousands, maybe. It's all about really understanding and knowing what's going on in your building before it becomes a big problem.
So do contractors and designers and all those people, do they already understand this? Are they already trying to integrate leak proofing into their designs and buildings?
Absolutely, and that's one reason our business is in the Pacific Northwest. So building enclosure or profession is reached a high state of art in this area because of that reason. Contractors are aware of it, they deal with it, they try to design so the buildings don't leak, they obviously try to construct so they don't leak, and property managers try to maintain them so they don't leak.
Right.
But the problems are still there.
Right.
Water is persistent and it's tricky. So that's what we did. We went back and developed the technology to monitor condominium projects. We're in several condominium projects.
With flat roofs?
With flat roofs, some not.
So the technology works for angled roofs as well.
It works.
You have a package that you sell to developers now?
The systems we do sell to the developers
to
install in the buildings, then we monitor them long term after that.
So your people go out and install them?
Actually, we work through electrical contractors to do that.
I see.
So basically, Mike, we're the smarts in the parts.
I see.
We design it, we commission them, and we provide the proprietary technologies.
Is your market developing from Tacoma and branching out?
Absolutely. Developing from Tacoma, Seattle, as I say, Vancouver, British Columbia. We're in Canada there. We've done some projects in Portland. We've actually dipped down into California some. We've started to get calls from across the country as far as Boston.
Wow. So word's getting out.
The word's getting out. Word's getting out. And in time, we intend to develop markets south through California. California is very litigious on water problems, and then work across the country.
You're going to take over the world.
Well, just a small piece of it.
Yeah, the wet part. So what's next?
I mean, we're looking for strategic partners to take this to the next level. Companies doing building automation systems, for example, are a good target for us. Building consultants who want a better way of doing things are good prospects for us.
I look forward to hearing about your successes in the future. It sounds to me like you're in the right place at the right time with the product we need.
I agree. Thank you.
Well, Duncan, thanks for being our guest today on Business Matters.
Thank you.